Oh, hello. Today, we are going to be talking about books that are going to be released for the rest of the year. So I do 3 of these videos a year, one at the end of the prior year, one at the beginning of the year in question, and one kind of like mid to late. So this is video numero dos of that trilogy of videos I always do. And this is just to talk about books that are on my radar, new releases that are coming up, that I am contemplating reading, that perhaps you would like to contemplate reading. In my last one, I covered many books, and I'm only going to be talking in this video about books that are coming out April onwards. So there's several books I was anticipating that have already come out. At the time of this video's release, there's still a few not out for March, but we're just going to have to let those disappear into the ether. So this is April onwards, and I am very pleased to tell you guys that I continue to not have a crazy long list. It feels good, it feels demure, it feels mindful, it feels like what I ought to be doing. And yeah, we're just gonna, I broke it up into the categories I've been using recently for these videos, which is books that are in series that I'm already enjoying and reading, books by authors that I have previously enjoyed, and randos, just books that sound good. So let's start with books that are in series that I'm already reading. So we've got The Potency of Ungovernable Impulses by Malka Older. I gotta say that this series is quickly becoming like the Wayward Children series, where it just feels like word salad as the titles. But it is a sci-fi mystery series with a sapphic romance at the heart of it. I have really enjoyed the prior 2. I think I gave both of them 4 stars, and I'm very excited for this one. I already have an arc, so I will be getting to that soon. Atonement Sky by Nalini Singh is the next side Changeling book. I have a on hiatus podcast about this series, so I clearly love it. I will say the last few books, I think we need to start wrapping up this current arc of the series, so we'll see if that happens, but I'm always at least conceptually excited for a Nalini Singh new book. Framed in Death by J.D. Robb will come out later this year, and that will be the 61st installment in the In Death series from J.D. Robb, which is a near-future sci-fi mystery series. I mean, light on the sci-fi, just sort of like near-future, a little bit speculative, and it has a very long-running history with its cast since we're 61 books in. Marble Hall Murders by Anthony Horowitz is the next in the Susan Ryland series, which I really enjoyed both of the prior books. They have books within books in them, so they have that kind of meta quality that I really like. Mate by Ali Hazelwood is the next book in her paranormal romance series, and this one I presume is going to be with the couple that got set up at the very end of the first book. It is high camp. It is including aspects of paranormal fan fiction that I don't know that the general reading public was fully ready for. But I'm here for it. I think it's campy. And the first book spent a lot of time setting up like the context. So I'm hoping this book will be a little, for my taste at least, better in terms of more focus on the characters and story, because we kind of know the deal with the world at this point. So there's that. And then we've got A Mouthful of Dust by Nevo, which is the next in the Cleric Chi series. This is one of my all-time favorite fantasy novella series, and it centers around Cleric Chi and their adventures around Yi fantasy world, gathering stories. It's always beautifully written, always interesting and thoughtful, and often brings me to tears. And then the last one that I think I'm going to read is Royal Gambit by Daniel O'Malley. And that one is the 4th book in the Cheque File series, which the Rook Honestly, yeah, you can see the bottom of The Rook right there and on the back of my wall. The Rook is one of my all-time favorite books, probably a top 10 book for me. We'll find out. I'm in the middle of doing a little project to figure out what my top 10 is. I love that book so much. And the next two books have both been adequate, but nowhere near as good. This book sounds to me like we're in the same world, but less in the same politics or the same type of book. So I'm hoping that that kind of gives a reset a little bit and I can enjoy this world that I really like a lot with kind of a better plot. That's my hope. So those are books that are in series. Oh, there's also an Amina Al-Sirafi book coming out this year, but I'm waiting until that series is done to catch up. So, but just FYI, that is supposed to come out this year. Okay. So then, moving on to books by authors I've already read and enjoyed, and therefore am intrigued by. Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I am interested in this, however, the setup of it sounds to me like an episode of How I Met Your Mother from season 1, where two people find each other and have like a perfect night, but like they're not supposed to be together after it. So when I read the description and every time I think about the book, I think of like Ted Mosby and his weird sad boy lovelorn whatever. But anyway, I know lots of people are excited for that one. I'll probably read it eventually. I don't think I'm going to read it right when it comes out. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, I think, has been pitched by Leanna to me as Suicide Squad of the Pope, like meets the Pope. It sounds like it's a funny book, but plotting and pacing wise, we'll see. But it's in a different world than the First Law series, so I am intrigued by that because that's the only type of stuff I have read from him so far. I don't even know if he has anything that's not in that world. I'm not enough of a Abercrombie head to know for sure. But anyway, I will get to this one eventually, but I want to get through all the First Law books first. Probably sometime next year. Parents Weekend by Alex Finlay is a little intriguing to me. I'm probably going to wait and see what the reviews are like. It is Missing College Kids Conspiracy. It's the Parents Weekend. These 5 college kids have, like, their parents are all together for, like, Parents Weekend at their university, and their kids go missing, and then, like, things go from there. He writes conspiracy thrillers that I like. So possibly this will be another one for me, but I'll wait and see what the reviews are like, because the last couple have been, like, so-so to me. Hidden Nature by Nora Roberts is her latest standalone suspense. I've got an arc of it, so I will definitely be reading this. I want to say that the heroine survived, like she was like a park ranger or something and was attacked and survived and is back home and mysteriousness is happening. So I don't know. We'll see. You guys know I love a Nora Roberts standalone. King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. I really love S.A. Cosby's writing, but the premise of this one I'm kind of on the fence about, so I may wait for some reviews. This is the dad dies and is leaving the business to the kids, but one of the kids is like in deep with the mob, I think, in terms of like owing them money. So that's not typically my kind of book, but I like S.A. Cosby's writing so much that I'm tempted to read it. So I don't know. I'll wait. I'm sure if I read it, I wouldn't have a terrible time just because I like his writing so much, but we'll see. Zom Rom-Com by Olivia Dade is a zombie paranormal romance, and that was really pretty much all I needed to know. I really like Olivia Dade's writing. I like that she has like very like progressive value forward writing in her books in terms of like the kinds of conflicts and the kinds of characters she makes. So I love that with some fun paranormal elements. Then, Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. This is a thriller with an old lady killer, which has kind of become a subgenre in the last few years, I feel like. But I think I've read 1 or 2 books from Samantha Downing. I remember maybe just one, For Your Own Good. And I really liked that book a lot. I thought it was a really good version of kind of like a blackmail school gone wrong story with murderousness. So I'm intrigued to see what she does with this new popular subgenre. And then Five Found Dead by Sulari Gentle. This is her take on a isolated close circle mystery, so I'm really excited about this. I still haven't finished The Mystery Writer from last year, so I need to read that. But Five Found Dead, I believe that they are five found dead on a train, if I'm remembering rightly. I don't know. There's a bunch of... Guys, I gotta tell you, there's a lot of isolated close circle mysteries coming out these days, which I appreciate. But there's definitely some that are better than others. I'm reading a lot of them right now, and I'm like, God, this is kind of bleak. I mean, like, I'm always at least moderately entertained because I love the trope so much, but I'm just like, ay. Some people do not get it. They do not get the vibe, and they don't understand how to do this right. Anyway, but this is her version of it. She tends to write kind of like metatextual or like weird mystery stuff, which I appreciate. So I'm excited for that. Okay, and then I've got I've got 5 other books that I thought I would mention. And I've read from 3 of these authors before. So, Bad Eater and Other Names for Cora Zing by Kylie Lee Baker. I've read a YA book from Kylie Lee Baker. It was a YA fantasy, and I liked the writing, but the way it came together for that book didn't work for me totally. But this one is a horror that is exploring pandemic type stuff. And the description of it sounded really good. I've got a hold on this, I've got a notification at the library for when this comes in, because I think this will be a library book for me. Actually, all 5 of these, 4 of the 5 will be library books for me. But yeah, I know her writing's pretty good. The writing was fine in the one I read, and just the description and kind of the pitch of this, I think, sounds like it sounds intriguing. I think it's exploring, during the COVID pandemic, some of the Asian racism that was happening here in the U.S. as a part of that. So I think that's part of the analogy or allegory happening. I don't know. I'm interested in this one. The Starving Saints by The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. This one is dicey because Caitlin Starling did write my least favorite book of last year, which was The Luminous Dead. So this is another horror novel, but this sounds so rad. I've got to try this. It is a horror novel about all of these medieval-ish, I think it's like a fantasy world, but medieval fantasy people who are locked up in the middle of a plague and then are going crazy and eating each other, I think, maybe, or a siege. Maybe they're in a siege. There's no food. And I've been so into watching all these medieval history documentaries lately. I'm really feeling the medieval vibe, and just the idea of that for horror sounds really appealing to me. So I'm hoping that there's no weird romances in this that I have to object to in terms of Stockholm Syndrome romances. And I'm hoping I can just enjoy the medieval and horror-y vibes. Bachelorette Party by Camilla Sten. This is a thriller in translation, I believe. Well, the last book I read from her was in translation. I believe this one is as well. And it is it's an isolated close circle mystery. This one includes an investigative journalist podcast angle and a similar party happening on an island in the same area that this famous other crime happened with an isolation trope. So I don't know. I liked her writing a lot. And it's the trope I love, so I gotta give it a go. So we'll see. And then The Game is Murder by Hazel Ward. This is another, I believe it's an isolated close circle mystery. If not, it is at least a meta mystery. And I think it's being pitched as sort of I think it's playing with the form a little bit to set up you, the reader, as trying to solve the mystery. It's meant to be extremely metatextual. So I am really intrigued to see how this is pulled off. I have found myself recently very drawn to the concept of puzzle box mysteries. That's a huge part of the mystery tradition, but kind of has come out of vogue. And I feel is, especially with the rise of mixed media type mysteries, is coming back into vogue more. And it's something I'm very drawn to. So probably in part because that's the type of book I'm writing. So, but I'm intrigued to see how this author did it. It's being pitched in a very interesting way. So I'm intrigued to see what all this entails. And then finally, Medievally Blonde by Kate Jacobs. I believe you guys told me about this one the last time I did this video, or like the first round of this video for 2025. And I don't know who Kate Jacobs is, but it sounds like they're some kind of book influencer person. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It is like ye fantasy medievally kind of world, which as established, very into recently. And it is a rom-com in the vein of Legally Blonde, where there's this prince and princess who are supposed to be together. He dumps her. She gets into his night school to try to get him back, but she's going to fall in love with someone else. That just sounds like fun. Jolly japes. And I think it might be the beginning of a series. If not, I saw a remarkably similar sounding book and cover on NetGalley. So it's either the first in a series and there's a sequel, or it's starting a trend. So yeah. Anyway, like I said, I feel like that's a really reasonable number of books. I've had ones of these videos where I have like 50 books in them, which I'm never gonna, well, I guess at the time, theoretically, I might have read them all, but less likely to read all those. And I'm focusing not as much on frontlist, which feels good. It's been a good trend for me for the last couple of years. I don't know how you guys feel about it, because, yeah, I know keeping up with the frontlist can be helpful for folks from influencers. I'm rambling. I'm tired. So I'll just start to close it out here. Let me know if you feel like there's any glaring omissions for things that are coming out in 2025 from April onwards. As just mentioned, I get recommendations from you guys as well, so this is a two-way street. And yeah, like the video if you liked it, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to know when I'm going to post, because you never know. And yeah, I think that'll do it. I hope you are doing well. Please take care of yourself and each other, and I will just talk to you soon.